Can you guys see, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, but it's not the presentation. It's
Yeah,
the
let me get to slideshow. How's that look?
looks good.
Perfect.
Thank you. You can't see how it looks while you're speaking. Well, at least I haven't figured that out. Um, well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here this evening, and to Meredith for inviting us to give this presentation. We are thrilled to spend this time with you and tell you about our research study. And of course, we hope you'll find it interesting and you'll be interested in joining. And we also hope you'll be interested in helping us spread the word. So this is a research study on the genetics of breast cancer. This is a little intro slide. It's one version of our flyer, or you might see this sort of thing in our monthly newsletter. It points out that our study is fully remote and very easy. And if you participate, you can make a difference to improve our ability to treat and prevent breast cancer. Now, Meredith, do you give a copy of the slides to everyone on the call?
If you would allow me to, I'm happy to send that to everyone.
Yeah, I will give you the link or give you a copy that you can share, because there are a bunch of links in this presentation. For example, if you had the file, you would click here where it says learn more about the study and be taken to our website. Or there must be a link here somewhere where you could read the whole article that was printed up about us in the Rutgers News describing our study.
Absolutely. Afterwards we can connect and I'll get that from you and get it out.
Okay, thank you. So this is just fun little slide that references a media presentation that we had. So let me tell you about the study. Well, this is actually a little bit of background. I don't know how much you all know about the genetics of breast cancer. This is a short slide, so I'll just read through this. While hundreds of DNA variants have been identified, and these are found in a number of different genes, they don't fully explain the genetic basis of breast cancer. So there are novel variants that still remain to be discovered.
I'm all done with my tray.
And there's more for us to understand about even the variants we already know about. And DNA variants are changes in our DNA, places where my DNA is different than yours. Most of our DNA is the same, but every so often there's a little position in our DNA that can be different between people. And most of those don't have any impact, but a subset of those can lead to disease. So we're still looking for more of them that can lead to or contribute to the development of breast cancer. And the more that we know about them and how they link to both breast cancer and maybe other traits as well, that can help us better understand some of the causes of breast cancer and also how we respond to treatments. So genes with breast cancer associated variants, or those that modify risk factors such as BRCA1 and BRCA2, may serve as future drug targets. And the Rutgers University Genetics of Breast Cancer study, our coordinating center is called RUGCC, is a collaboration between the Rutgers University Coordinating Center and the Regeneron Genetics Center. Regeneron is a very well-known pharmaceutical company. They're located in Tarrytown, New York. They have a whole division devoted to genetics research, which from my understanding is unusual among pharmaceutical companies. And in their genetics division, they have lots of really smart scientists, many of whom were formerly at academic institutions, and that's who we partner with for this research. So for this study, and the next couple slides will tell you in more detail, we use a web-based platform to engage with the study. We obtain your DNA by you providing saliva to us, and you collect that yourself and mail it in to us. You fill out some questionnaires where you provide self-reported information about your health. That's a fancy word for that, phenotype data. And optionally, you might connect your electronic health records to our study, which increases our power. And we then use all this data to conduct exome-wide and genome-wide studies, which is another way of saying we look across the whole genome for factors that might relate to breast cancer. We're not just looking at a few genes. By the way, if you have questions, feel free to interrupt anytime. I can't see you while I speak, so you need to just talk. But we'll have time also for questions at the end. And I have about, I don't know, maybe like 10 slides. So anyone who lives in the United States, currently living in the US, who is age 18 or up, is eligible for our study. It is an online platform, so you do need access to the internet, either via a laptop or you can use a phone. I'd say laptop or computer is a little easier. And we get the word out a number of different ways. We might reach people through email or text messages or through groups such as yourself, advocacy groups. Maybe we can get our flyer put into a newsletter. And we've done this now with several advocacy groups. Probably you've heard of, well, now I'm going to say their acronym and I won't remember what it stands for, but there's a well-known group called FORCE. The FOR is facing our risk. Steve, do you remember the whole thing? Or you can Google it.
Yeah.
They have a long name. Give Steve a second.
I didn't realize that you can Google
Sorry.
it, that I should Google it.
Why don't you do that? And we can tell everybody about that group.
Yeah, it's so it's facing a risk of cancer empowered.
Okay.
And so it's especially for individuals and families with hereditary cancer, like BRCA1, BRCA2, Lynch syndrome, other things like that.
Thanks. And some of the other groups we've partnered with are Tower Cancer Research Foundation, Charette. There's a male breast cancer organization we've partnered with, and a handful of other smaller groups, and we're constantly looking for more. We're building our social media presence. We still have a way to go there. And then one of our biggest ways of getting the word out is by asking people who've joined our study to tell their friends and family. Or maybe they are part of a community that can help us advertise to lots of people. Our goal is to recruit at least 25,000 participants into this study. We already have over 13,000 people enrolled in the study, so we're well on our way, but we still have a long way to go. And in the world of genetic studies, a sample size of 25,000 is not really even that large. If we could get bigger than that, it would be even more powerful for our research. The total time to participate in this study is around 20 minutes, maybe a little more, a little less. It depends on how savvy you are with web portals. And it partly depends on your own personal or family history of breast cancer, which can make the breast cancer survey take a little bit longer than for people who don't have any history. We also have some additional surveys that are optional, and those cover some other health traits, so you can do those if you wish. So, sorry, I guess a little bit of this will be repetitive, but again, the study is managed using our user-friendly online study portal. And once you've made an account there, you consent to be in the study, you fill out a couple of surveys, and you request a saliva collection kit to be mailed to your home. What is on here that I haven't already said? We store all of the data using industry-leading privacy and security standards, and we take this very, very seriously. We understand how important it is to do everything we can to keep your data safe. And then we perform genetic analyses to look for new breast cancer-related variants and to study some more, even the variants that we already know about. I do want to say this right up front and be clear. What we're doing is a research study. It's not a genetic test. So we do not return to you the results of the study. When we're all done analyzing the data, we'll write up a paper describing what we found, and that gets published and is available to everybody. And we certainly would summarize that paper in our monthly newsletter and also make a link to the whole paper available to all the participants. But your own genetic data is not returned to you. The one thing we can return to you, it's a small thank you for participating in the study, is a report that describes your ancestry. Because we have your DNA and we can compare your DNA to that of all the other people in our study, we can provide some information about where your ancestors came from. So this is somewhat similar to what you might do at Ancestry.com or 23andMe or some other groups who provide this service for a fee. But when we do it for you, there's no cost. Participation in our study is, of course, voluntary, and there's no payment for participating. So this is what you'll see if you were to join the study, and going through the consent. At the end of the consent, there's sort of a summary of the features of some of the important points in the consent, and they say that your data will be stored in the study platform at Rutgers and in our database, and that de-identified data is also shared with Regeneron, our partner. So they don't get any personal contact information about you. They don't get your name. They don't get your email. They only get your health data and your DNA and related data, your genetic data, but not with any identifier to you. Your saliva sample is destroyed after we obtain the DNA from it. Your DNA will be stored for future research by us or by Regeneron, but will only be accessed for use according to the tenets of this consent. Researchers will perform studies using your data, and our research may be performed on other topics, so including breast cancer research, but also maybe other studies, and I'll get to that in a minute. We just actually are starting to launch right now our second study. Your contact information may be used to tell you about other studies, but you can opt out of communications at any time. We do send a monthly newsletter. I'll show you a few examples of that. We may ask you to refer other individuals, your friends and family, to participate in our study, but you're not required to do that, of course. You can withdraw from participating in the study at any time, and there's no penalty, of course. If you withdraw, we just stop using your data for our study, and we stop communicating with you. Well, and this is sort of a closing slide. And that's sort of my prepared slideshow. So let me stop for a minute. I see a question